pick on Deb a lot then.
Sorry.
Thank you for that.
That's it, nobody else? They got there?
I've never been on
You
any.
want,
What's your name?
you gotta get on it.
What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony, okay, you told me that this morning, it goes in one ear, and I tilted my head, it rolled out.
Barry, you been on HF?
Last field day.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we'll go through this, and we'll give you two an opportunity to kind of pitch in here in a moment. We'll give you some toys to play with here. Barry's got loaned me these big old honking microphones for dry training, so we'll give each one of you one and let you play around, and we'll call on you shortly, okay? All right. Let's see. I'm Stu, for anybody who doesn't know. I think I know everybody in here pretty much. I met before, except for you and Anthony, I think, but I met him this morning. So we're going to start with the types of contacts that you can make on HF. You know, that's kind of what field day is about. We heard somebody who talked about field day earlier. That who had a presentation on emergency contact? Anybody talk about field day? Nobody at all. Okay, for field day, the purpose of AWRL field day is to exercise emergency communications. Go out in the field, use battery power, portable power of some sort, and make as many contacts as you can around North America, and prove that, hey, we can take this gear, we can go out, set up, communicate in the case of an emergency. We can actually do the job that that Rich was talking about here a little bit ago in the field. So we have a couple of stations set up out there. Rich told you about the SCU van out there, and it's primarily going to be a digital station today. Up the hill a little bit, though, we have a voice station up there that is going to be operating on 20 meters and 40 meters and maybe 6 meters if we get a sporadic openings or some good propagation there. And what we're going to cover today is how to make the typical field day exchange on the air on these HF frequencies that propagate very far long distances by refracting with the ionosphere, bending these signals back to the Earth far distances. This morning, Kyle and I have already made some contacts around the country, so the bands are open. We're going to be operating again on 20-meter band and 40-meter band. Both of those are open right now and doing pretty well. We've made contacts out to California, down into Texas, just talked to Tampa, Florida before I walked in here, Iowa, Indiana. That's all I remember. Was there anywhere else that you got?
No, it's California.
California. So the bands are doing reasonably well. So what we'll talk about here, 3 different QSO types. What's a QSO? Somebody tell me what's a QSO, what does that mean? Yeah, it's an on-air conversation, right? One of those Q signals that we use. Answering a CQ call, this is when you're surfing across the band, you're sitting at the radio, and you're like, okay, I don't want to call into the line, but I'm just going to take that big knob and scroll it around until I hear somebody calling, hey, CQ field day, CQ field day. So that's number 1, and we'll look at how exactly we respond to that call. Number 2 would be when you're making the CQ call. You're like, okay, I'm tired of this scrolling around the band. Maybe somebody out there will listen to me, and you find an open spot in the band, someplace that you won't interfere with another station that you hear. Dial over to that. If you're lucky, you find one of those gaps today. Dial over to that gap, and then start making the call. And we'll go through exactly the procedure that you need to make in order to make the CQ call yourself. And finally, we'll talk a little bit about this thing called a pileup. When you have usually a good strong station or a lot of people on the air, like will be today, you may get a pileup going where lots of different stations are trying to call and answer your CQ call at the same time. And you have to pick one of those stations out of all the garble to say, hey, you, that station there, you call and talk to me and let's get our exchange, and then we'll go to the next guy. So we'll talk about all 3 of these kinds and do a little bit of acting here today. So up first, answering the CQ call. Remember, you're dialing across the band. We're going to have probably 20-meter band up. So got a good wide bandwidth there to dial through, and you're gonna be listening for stations, and you'll hear something like this. You'll hear a station say something like, maybe it's K5TEX. I wonder what state he's in, Bob.
Texas.
I bet he is in Texas. And he's saying, do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
CQ Field Day, CQ Field
No,
Day.
no, you're not doing it right if he's in Texas.
Oh, well, he's a northerner that moved to Texas.
Okay, I've got
CQ.
qualifications. Oh, go ahead.
Y'all CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day.
K-5 Tango Echo X, right? How's that?
That's better. You're pretty good.
That's Mississippi.
I could do
All right,
that.
so you're gonna hear him saying that, and he may go on for quite a while, depending on how successful he's being, and we're gonna respond to that. You're gonna say, what, Deb, what are you gonna say?
Hi.
Hey, Deb, what's your name? No, you're gonna say something like, first of all, you're gonna use our club call sign whenever you do speak, and our club is what? It's in the back of the room.
W0TLM.
W0TLM, but are you going to use W0TLM in that form on the HF frequencies where it's really noisy and there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people talking? You're going to use what?
TLM.
No? What's-
Mike.
Yeah, phonetics, right, exactly. And what are phonetics for W0TLM? Say it again.
Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike.
Right, pound that into your head. Whiskey, 0, Tango, Lima, Mike. Those are the standard phonetics, and you'll hear some variations on those, of course, but we like to stick to the standards here. So W0TLM is going to respond to text down there calling CQ out of who the heck knows where, somewhere down there around Houston, I expect. And we're going to say exactly that. Whiskey, 0, Tango, Lima, Mike. That's all we've got to say. Just put your call sign out there because there's high likelihood there's going to be about 50 other stations also throwing their call sign out there at the same time. And it gets crowded sometimes. But if the conditions are clear and calm and things are cool, say Whiskey, 0, Tango, Lima, Mike. And text is going to come back with something like, if he hears you and hears your call sign clear, he's going to come back with something like, Whiskey 0 Tango Lima Mike, K5TX is 2 Alpha, North Texas. So he ain't around Houston. He's up north of Dallas.
Amarillo.
Amarillo. There you go, Amarillo. Now let's break this down. What this means. He's giving you your call sign back to you to acknowledge that he correctly received and interpreted your call sign, W0TLM first. Then he says his station name again. He may or may not. He might say we are, but he's identifying himself again. There's 2 Alpha. Anybody know what that means? Take a stab at that. Even if you heard it at the meeting the other night, about
2 operators.
2 stations.
Alpha class, I don't remember what.
Yeah, 2 stations, an Alpha, what? Bob?
Club operating portable out in the field.
Portable club in the field. So that's what that 2 Alpha means. And then North Texas is his, is it region?
Section.
Section. So that we have to record in the log. So we have to record his call sign in the log, his station type or his operating type, 2 Alpha, and North Texas, which I think is NTX in the abbreviation. So someone will be out there on the computer pounding that in our electronic log for whatever call sign and information is received. Now, W0TLM is going to respond with, anybody want to take a stab at it? What do you think? It's our turn.
K5TX. We are.
Yes.
Southern Colorado.
Well, pretty close, yeah. Except the information is slightly different from that. Okay, we'll say QSL, copy your 2 Alpha, Texas. We are 2 Foxtrot, Colorado. Charlie Oscar, over. So QSL means gotcha, copy, we understand. And we just got to repeat a little bit of his stuff there. It's not necessary to do that if you're got it perfect. You know he's 2 Alpha in North Texas. You're just repeating back to him and that you heard him correctly. And then you give him the same information about our operation that he gave us. We're 2F, 2 Foxtrot, because we're operating at an emergency response center, this fire station. So we qualify, a little different qualification. 2F, 2 Foxtrot, and we're in Colorado. Colorado State is our section. So just like Texas is divided up into multiple sections, Colorado's just one section, Colorado. CO for the abbreviation, Charlie Oscar. So that's what the Charlie Oscar is. We're repeating ourselves. Colorado and Charlie Oscar doing the same thing, just to make sure that he's heard us. Okay, and that we give him that 2-letter identifier that he has to pound into his log. Okay? Make sense so far? All right, then the text comes back and says, QSL, 2 Foxtrot, Colorado, thanks, 73, QRZ, Kilo 5 Tango Echo X-ray. What's QRZ?
Next.
Yeah, so maybe he's hoping to just stay on this frequency, that somebody else is out there waiting in the wings, wanting to call him, just like we did, and he just acknowledges our information, gives us a thanks 73, saying, I'm done with you. Okay, 7-3, best wishes, but shut up, I'm going on to the next guy. And QRZ, meaning, okay, next, you're ready to receive another call. Go ahead, I'm all ears, I'm listening. And gives his call sign so that anyone who is listening can make sure they got his call sign correct right from the get-go. You okay with this? Okay, all right. Questions about any of that?
Yeah, we have a couple people join us late. Might want to check in at some point who's going to be on the air.
Oh, yeah, who wants to give the HF station a try? Anybody, any of you guys that came in late here? That's what we're here for. Who you got? Oh, look at that, look at that.
Did you stop at a truck stop on the way out?
10-4, buddy!
Yeah, he went inside. Guess what Barry does in his spare time?
Carl and
Collects my
you gonna share that?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody? What's your name? Zach. All right, Zach, I'm Stu. So y'all clear on this, everybody? You're all good so far? Okay, we're gonna press on, right? Making the CQ call. So, well, you got one for Patricia? Oh, let's see if we'll work it. I don't have any more big shiny ones, Patricia.
I'll be a game.
Sorry. No, don't get barbecue chicken on my microphone.
No, I won't.
Barry will be mad. It's actually Barry's microphone. Okay, so type 2 now, you're gonna make the call. It's not like that old sports thing on Major League Baseball. You make the call. This is, you're actually making the CQ call on the radio. So how are you gonna start out? What is W0TLM, what is Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike gonna say? You dial around the band and you're like, hey, there's a blank spot here, I'm not hearing anybody, maybe I could use that. Listen, you say, okay, I'm on upper side band, I need 3 kilohertz above me. Yeah, there's nobody up there, I don't hear anything. You listen for a little while, and before anybody else jumps on there today, you say, what?
Is the frequency in use?
Well, you can say that, but today I would, normally you would say that, today I'd kind of forego that. It's going to be really busy.
CQ field day, CQ field day.
Check.
Whiskey 0, Tango Lima Mike.
You got it, going on there. So there's 3 parts, just like she said. CQ field day, CQ field day. CQ meaning calling any station. Calling any station. This is CQ field day. Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike, our call sign, W0TLM. This is the second part. And the third part is just to kind of have more airtime so that somebody dialing across the band has a higher chance of stumbling across us. Calling CQ and standing by. Now this is brief. It gives you the essence of it. If it's not real busy and you're not getting any calls back, you may need more airtime indicating that you're calling CQ to give others out there more opportunity to dial across the band and find you. So it might be something like, CQ field day, CQ field day, CQ field day, calling CQ 20 meters, Whiskey Zero, Tango Lima Mike, calling CQ field day, CQ field day, CQ field day, Whiskey Zero, Tango Lima Mike, calling CQ field day. That way you get a little more time and somebody may find you. Then you shut up and you listen, and you get you. November 6th, Sierra Oscar Charlie, 5 Foxtrot, LAX, Lima Alpha X-ray. All at once, just coming back to you like that. Probably there's gonna be just a call sign. You have to say, hey, November 6th, Sierra Oscar Charlie, let's, here's my info, come back. But in this case, he unloaded everything on you. So again, you got his call sign, his station type or his operation type, field day type operation, and LAX, and he spelled it out for you, Lima Alpha X-ray. Where do you think he is?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, somewhere in that Southern California.
Small area.
I'll reserve other commentary. What are you going to say back? What's your response to that? It's not really any different from before. Only you initiated the call here. Everything else is going to be kind of the same. What's going to be the response? What do you think? Any good? You remember?
No.
Well, yeah, you probably could tell him, okay, yeah, I got all that stuff. And then you'd unload your information on him. QSL, a copy of your 5 Foxtrot LAX. We are. And you give him the same stuff. 2 Foxtrot, Colorado, Charlie Oscar. Over. So it's kind of the same thing there, right? Only you initiated the call instead of the other station initiating the call. From here, everything is pretty much the same. Maybe he says, yep, QSL 2 Foxtrot, Colorado. And then you'll let him know what. Since you initiated the call and you own the frequency essentially at this point, what are you going to finish up with perhaps?
73,
Yeah, kind of like the other guy did to you. Thank you, 7-3, CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day. And do your Whiskey 0 Tango Lima Mike calling CQ, CQ, CQ again. Or, what if you had multiple stations trying to call you? Instead of saying CQ, CQ, what would you say? Just like text did.
Lima Mike.
What did text say?
Where's that?
QRZ. QRZ, Z is Z and, on the radio, on phonetics sometimes. So QRZ, meaning any station, go ahead, I'm ready for the next one. And someone else will call in and give you a call sign. Now, sometimes, that's what I just said, you might not be able to disentangle the entire call sign. So what do you do then? Let's say you got multiple stations and they were kind of jumbled and talking on top of one another. What would you do in this case if you heard some of this call sign? What would you, and you say, yeah, I want to talk to that 6 station out in California. What would you do?
November 6th, try again.
Yeah, something like that. We fill in
Third station, Oscar Charlie.
November 6th station, call again, and that tells everybody else what? If you're not a November 6th station.
Don't call. Wait.
Shut up! Shut up! I'm trying to listen to this November 6th dude. And if there's 2 November 6th dudes out there, then it's easier to disentangle and you can get the whole call sign. And so you might have a scenario like that where they call back then, November 6th here, Oscar Charlie, 5 Foxtrot LAX, and give you the down. Does that make sense then? Questions about making the call here? Mr.
Back to Greg's point about why don't you ask if the frequency's busy before you use it? Most contesters won't do that because they'll just make a quick call, and if the frequency's busy, somebody will let you know.
Yeah.
Like, get off my frequency, and you just go, oh, sorry,
and
we move on. It's just as fast, it's maybe just slightly less courteous.
We're a lot less courteous.
Yeah.
And you also have to realize too, that as the propagation changes during the day, that you might have a cool frequency, and if you have a lovely female southern voice, you're gonna call the pilot, we bring them in.
That's
and
right.
then all of a sudden the propagation changes, and you find out that you had somebody else on that same frequency.
Yeah, and
You
that's,
couldn't hear in the beginning.
and the fading is starting to happen out there today. Just before I came in, I was making a few contacts, and the bands are up and down. So I was talking to a guy, and I think it was a guy in Tampa, and he was coming in really nice and strong, S7, S8 signal strength there, and then he dropped down to a 4, and kind of got it down in the noise a little bit, and it was a little hard to hear. So you're gonna have a little bit of that going on today, and it's gonna be a little tricky. But if you can get that exchange done pretty rapidly, usually you'll be within the waves of power that are kind of coming and going. But you're exactly right. Sometimes when you'll be you'll be having a QSO with a station over here, everything's nice and fine, and the band fades or changes, and suddenly you're stepping all over some conversation that's going on over here instead. And you're like, well, where did he come from? He just, kind of faded in out of the blue there, and I didn't get your call. Try it again, and that station that just faded in, shut up, please. But those kinds of things are going to happen on contest day, where it's really, really busy. It's just part of the game. It's part of the fun. Part of the magic. Okay. Any other questions about this CQ scenario? CQ scenario? That's a stretch. That's not a question, right? Okay. Okay, let's talk about this pile-up thing then, and then we'll give a couple of practice shots here for you. Again, the pile-up is somehow you, and this is not likely to be the case for our station because we're relatively low power and our antenna is not spectacular like some of them will be out there for other stations, but it could be that you get into a situation where many people hear you and want to make that contact, and they're trying to call you all at once. So, after the last QRZ, or QSO, after the last contact, we've made that QRZ call. Like, okay, we know there are other stations out there trying to call us. We wrap up, 7-3, have a nice day, see you later, I'm moving on, QRZ. And now all these stations start calling in to you, right? Going, November Extra Shozu ZZ4 Bravo Echo to Yankoff and to 5 Robin uniform. That's about what it's going to sound like, except not in my voice. Lots of different voices. Okay? Let's say you can pick out of this, you heard Echo 2 in there somewhere. You're like, okay, I know that was one person said Echo 2, and that's the most I can get out of that jumble. So what would you do with that?
Come back.
Yeah, exactly. Tricia. Say, hey, there's an Echo 2 something in there, Echo 2 station. Call again, please. And what are you telling everybody else who doesn't have Echo 2 in their call sign? Shut up! I'm trying to talk to this Echo 2 person here. What? Okay. So, Kilo Echo 2 Golf Papa comes back to you. Says, Kilo Echo 2 Golf Papa, 1 Delta Whiskey November Yankee. What does that mean? He's giving you his call sign. What's the rest of it mean?
Club.
Western New York.
Yeah, exactly. He's 1 Delta, so 1 station at their operation, and I forget what Delta is right offhand.
Home.
Okay, so one station operating home, and then WNY is Western New York. It's one of the sections that's basically telling you where he is. So in every case, they're giving you their call sign, their station type, and their geographical location, their section. Those 3 information pieces got to be in our log, right? Okay. And you would respond to him not any different than you would with the other 2 types of things of QSOs here. Copy your 1 Delta, Western New York, Kilo Echo 2 Golf Papa. Got your call sign. We are 2 Foxtrot, Colorado. QSL, you got it? You good? And he's probably going to say something like QSL 2 Foxtrot, Colorado, 7-3. And then what are you going to say? Yeah, now you got it. QRZ 7-3, Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike. Filling your call sign out there again for any new listener who might have just dialed across the band and found you. You want to make sure they know who you are. QRZ. Next station. Come on. Bring it. Bring it. And they will. Questions about the... This is unlikely for us, I would say. But it has happened here before. 2 years ago on 40 meters, right at the start of field day, we got a big pile up and we made, I don't know, 20, 30 contacts real quick right at the beginning, so it worked well. Okay. All right, so pick up those mics now. We're gonna give you a couple of scenarios and let you try this yourself. And this really does help you. Now, our microphone out of the station is actually a desktop mic, and it's got a foot-activated pedal. So you got to remember to take your foot off the pedal after you're done talking. Okay? It's not like these, but this is best. We didn't have this many desktop mics to provide for you. So
Truck stop didn't have them.
what's that?
The truck stop didn't have them.
Truck stop didn't have that many in it. So okay, so you are the W0TLM operator, and you make the proper call, and we'll help you get started here a little bit. Okay. So let's see. Let's say you're dialing across the band, you're listening, you're dialing across, and you come upon a QSO, you hear some stations talking there, and this operator says, Kilo 2, November Romeo, QRZ. Make the call.
You can do it all at the same time, it'd be like a real pileup.
Yeah. But he just finished with this QSO and he says, Kilo, what did I say, Kilo 2, November Romeo?
Yeah.
So I could remember it. Kilo 2, November Romeo,
How's that working?
QRZ. What's QRZ mean?
Calling all stations.
Calling any station. So come on, bring it. He's saying, bring it, bring it. So what are you going to bring him? What are you going to do? Kick up that mic, push the talk, and tell me what you're going to say, Carl.
Say, Whiskey Zero, Tango Lima, Mike.
Right. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it first, right? Just the call sign. Because a whole bunch of other people probably throwing their call signs out there, and he's going to have to say, hey, you, I like that one. You come back to me and let's have an exchange.
So if it's not too busy, then it's another scenario where the guy pitched his station
Right.
and
Yeah, and that'll happen later in the day where folks will start just adding on the whole information as things come. At the beginning here, it's going to be really busy, and then through the afternoon, things will slow down a little bit because folks will kind of get all the contacts they're probably going to get for their particular station and just be looking for that unique one here and there. But it'll stay busy for a while. But for now, you just respond with our club call sign. Okay? All right then.
Just remember, this is all about practice, so you can't do it wrong.
Yeah.
Can't do it wrong,
That's
you
true.
throw it out there, see if you
I
can
mean,
get
if
plus
they
your
take my
answer.
license away from me if I do it wrong.
No, absolutely not. What Stu's just showed you is beautiful, gracious etiquette. You're gonna hear a lot less than that out there.
That's-
Because they're
it's-
trying to go
it'd be
really
a-
fast. Get your guy that's sitting with you to coach you. Come on, jump in. Do I say it this way? You know, ask questions. You
Right.
can't do it wrong. The idea is that if you don't come to field day every year, you don't get used to listening and picking people up out of the weeds, as we call it.
And that's a good point. There is a real skill, I guess, to listening and remembering a call sign. We've got pads out there, and we'll have someone sitting at the table with you, recording the call signs and helping you out. And all that you have to do or think about is, what am I supposed to say? And you look at the pad and say, Kilo 2 November Romeo, we are 2 Foxtrot Charlie Oscar. Oh yeah. Okay, and that's fine. It's fine. But Kyle or I or somebody, one of our other operators with some experience will be out there writing down and helping you listen and pick out those call signs and let you know what to say. And frequently included in these exchanges, you'll hear a signal report, and they'll all be 5-9. 5-9, we're 2 Foxtrot, Charlie Oscar. But in this exchange, there's no requirement for a signal report, right?
Correct.
So it's probably going to be omitted for the most part, but you might hear it once in a while. Okay, so we threw W0TLM out there, and K2 November Romeo comes back and says, yeah, that Whiskey Zero station, go ahead. And what are you going to do when that happens?
Give your call sign again phonetically.
Okay, and that is, go ahead, pick up your microphone, push the talk, and do it.
Whiskey Zero.
No, they can't hear you. You got to put it up here.
Whiskey Zero.
Get up here.
Whiskey Zero, Tango Lima, or Mike. QSL.
No, 2 Foxtrot.
Keep going.
2
What else?
Foxtrot, Colorado.
Yes! Okay, try it again, all together.
All right, Whiskey 0, Tango Lima Mike, 2 Foxtrot, QSL.
Colorado.
Colorado QSL.
Yeah, you gotta get that at 2
Foxtrot
Foxtrot,
and
Colorado. C or Charlie Oscar.
You don't get a point unless you not only copy their call sign, but their designator and their location.
Okay.
Yeah, you
So
gotta-
you want to
gotta
make
get it
sure
all.
they copy yours,
Yours,
because the ARRL goes against it.
Yeah,
I can
they'll
say
match
I
it. They gotta
can
match
say I
it.
heard
Say you got
50
20 of them,
stations,
you only heard
but I
one.
don't, yeah, I don't get a point for hearing a station. I get a point if the station also heard me.
Okay, all right.
So you want to make sure they get that 2 Foxtrot.
2 Foxtrot, Colorado. All right.
Yep, so call sign, 2 Foxtrot, Colorado. Those 3 pieces of information you gotta get across, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay? And he comes back and says, copy your 2 Fox, Colorado. We are 3 Delta 2 land. I don't know, I forgot. CT, Charlie
Yeah,
Tango.
Charlie Tango.
So what's that mean? Three stations, right? And they're Delta again, and that's a what?
They're
At home, so there's 3 guys at home supposedly, that'd be kind of weird actually.
No, not at all.
I don't know. And then CT, Charlie Tango, we told you, CT, so what section is that? Connecticut, yeah, exactly. And we'll have someone out there logging for you, just to make sure, so you don't have to worry about what that really means, okay? So he gives you his information and saying, so he says, yeah, I'm 3 Delta Charlie Tango, QSL, and you're gonna say?
It's call sign.
That you don't even have to say it's call sign at this point. You already provided that back to him, positive exchange, you know,
and then you
in
have to say,
in that previous transmission.
You said 3 Delta.
Foxtrot.
Yeah, he said 3 Delta Connecticut, 3 Delta CT.
3 Delta.
So you just need to acknowledge that.
Acknowledgement.
So say, copy your 3 Delta Connecticut,
Copy your 3 Delta Connecticut,
7-3. That's it, that's all you need to do. And then he's gonna say, Kilo 2 November Romeo, QRZ. It's gonna be that quick. It's gonna boom, 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 boom. They're gonna wanna move fast. But they also, folks understand, hey, there are new operators on the air out here. And they'll be patient. They'll work through it.
Okay, sometimes you wonder, did he really get my exchange, right? He may be so fast. But it's his responsibility to make sure he gets it, and he'll just, if he's moving on to QRZ for the next station, then you know he's got it. right?
Yep, that.
Otherwise, he'd come back to you and say, no, again,
Yeah,
I
try it again.
need your exchange.
Yeah, so sometimes that 7-3 will get omitted, or the QSL will get omitted, and it'll just be maybe thanks QRZ, or just QRZ, and you know, okay, I guess he heard me, I guess he got it all right. Okay?
Reality is, if he's a serious contester and he moves past you that fast, he got your info because he wants that point.
Yeah, he's got it. So
don't do
Patricia,
that.
you're gonna make a CQ call now. How are you gonna do that? You have dialed across the band and you found an open spot and it sounds like, yeah, there's nobody here, I'm safe to transmit. Make the call.
QSL, Whiskey 0, Tango, Lima,
Easy for you to say. Whiskey 0,
Lima Mike.
Lima Mike.
the Tango Lima Mike.
Okay.
Let's start with CQ.
Okay.
No QSL, no, I got it. Just start saying, CQ, hey, I'm calling any station. This is W0TLM, calling anybody. So CQ, anybody, CQ, W0TLM. Okay, so try it again that way.
CQ, Whiskey 0, Tango, Lima, Mike, anyone, CQ.
Okay, or you can say CQ field day. Again, you may want to stretch it out a little bit to let anybody dialing across the band have a better opportunity of hearing you transmitting, right? So maybe try CQ field day, CQ field day, CQ field day, Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike, CQ field day. And kind of, that way it gives you, a few more seconds of transmit time there. Okay?
Got it.
All right. Who else has a mic here? Anybody else want to try anything?
You get it.
Okay.
You try the CQ call then also. Because see, the reason I go to the ladies for the CQ call is because, just like she said, if
They'll
if
key in
a
on the
female
high-
voice is
high
heard,
pitch, yeah.
they'll say, oh, I can hear her really well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to zero in on that voice.
Okay.
So,
So CQ, field day, CQ, field day, Whiskey Zero, Tango Lima Mike.
dancing the tango.
CQ, anyone, CQ.
Yeah, you don't even have to say anyway. CQ field day, CQ field day, Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike, calling CQ field day, CQ field day,
Calling CQ.
CQ field day, Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike. And then,
CQ field day. Okay.
yeah, okay, and then I bet you that if you ladies do that, you'll get responses. Larry?
Didn't we have it 2 years ago? We got one gal that just got her license on the radio and she just created a pile.
She did, yeah. That was
I can't think of who it was.
the former Navy, or the Navy gal, Jeanette. Yeah, she got suddenly a whole bunch of responses. We hadn't had any response much or any pileup, then she got on the radio and everybody wants to talk to her.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
So can we assume most of these people out there have their little waterfall displays and they can find these new CQs pretty quick?
Well, not really. Probably not. Some will, but for the most part, they're just dialing across the band or making their own CQ calls, just like we just discussed here. Now, there will be some stations out there who have a spectrum display or using a digital radio and have a nice spectral display. And they can say, oh, yeah, there's a station.
Come on, right over
The
here.
bands are going to be so busy today that the whole spectrum is going to be just like
You just
spikes.
wouldn't be able to see anything unique. Yeah.
Right, so they're really listening for a CQ call or looking for not a spike, but looking for a gap where they can go fit in
Some
and not
blank.
interfere with somebody else. If they have that kind of capability. What other questions? Which operator are you? Which one are you going to be? Carl, which operator are you up there?
Homer? Homer Simpson problem?
Yeah, I kind of resonate with Homer and most, I think, so I'm not too dogged. I'm not too determined about it. I like things to be easy. Okay, so questions from any of you guys who are going to give this a shot for us? I know Mr. Kyle's up there. Field day has begun officially. It started at noon. And I know Mr. Kyle's up there right now, KY0LE, making contacts, or at least giving it his best shot. So what I would recommend to you is stroll up the hill and listen for a while first. Stand there, or I got a couple of camping chairs up there you're welcome to use. Sit there and listen to the exchanges. Listen to the flow and the ebb and flow of how things work. Whenever, practice in your head. When you are listening to things on the radio and you're hearing a call, think to yourself, how would I respond to that? What am I saying? Oh yeah, Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike. Oh, we're to Foxtrot, Colorado. Go through it in your head. I'm serious. I mean, this is really how you can prepare yourself. Because when you get up there and you, in this case, step on that mic, you step on that push to talk button, it's like, oh, you sound like Herman Munster. So, but go through it in your head, it'll help you.
I always find it hard to use somebody else's call sign, so
Yeah.
the club call sign kind of slows you down, but I usually write it down right in front of me. I don't know if you guys really.
We'll write it down on the pad so you can just read it.
Because when your brain goes dead, you just look down and go, Whiskey Zero Tango Lima Mike, 2 Foxtrot, Colorado. I just have it right in front of me.
We'll have that written down for you, and you can even read my chicken scrawl. I think I can write it clearly. Other comments, questions?
So you're gonna have someone dedicated to the computer logging?
Yeah, we'll have 2 operators at any given time. One logging and writing down call signs and trying to keep track of exactly what's going on there. And you in the seat with the microphone in front of you. Okay, and also all you have to do is talk and listen. And the other operator there will be recording all the information for you. Okay. What else? All right, I would encourage, oh, question?
Yeah, so I've got a question. What are the rules around using a club call sign?
Good question. If Kyle or I or Bob or Larry or Mike, anybody who is an extra class licensee is up there at the radio, they will be one of them will be the designated control operator for the radio and for the W0TLM call sign, because I am the trustee for that call sign, and I am entrusting and providing them authority to use that call sign under my trusteeship and manage that station appropriately. So anybody and everybody who's up there with one of those folks, you are okay on the, even through the extra class frequencies using W0TLM call sign under their supervision. Okay. So one of us will always be up there.
Just point of clarification, say I go home and become a 1 Delta station.
Right.
The FCC requires me to give my call sign at the beginning and every 10 minutes during a conversation. 10 minutes is out on this.
Not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning.
10 minutes, at least 10 minutes in and at the end.
I thought it was that when you started a transmission, when you
No, when you
started a contact.
No.
No.
There was a rule change proposal a couple of years ago to do that, but it got squelched, you got denied.
I was not tracking that. So, but we are not giving it at the end of the transmission.
Sometimes it's gonna happen that you get,
So
because that guy says QRZ and moves on, and you're not gonna have the opportunity to get back in there with W0TLM. You're right, and it's a little bit of a stretch of the rules. You're exactly right.
I just wanted clarification. So during a contest or during field day,
It's
rules are flexible.
Well, they get that way. It's not completely proper, but that's the way it goes, because everybody's trying to squeeze in as many contacts as they can. And if you do not get the opportunity at the end of the QSO to put your call sign out there again and ID properly, well, if you do transmit, you're just going to be interfering with the next QSO, and now you're violating different rules.
Right.
So, I think that's the lesser of two evils, really, is kind of the way that works.
Practically speaking, the entire QSO is going to last like 20 seconds. So
Yeah.
what does it mean to identify at the end of 20 seconds, right?
Yeah, it's kind of almost a moot point.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Other questions before we move on here? So I don't know who the next presenter is.
I am at 1:30.
Bob, at 1:30, so we've got an
SWR.
hour and 15 minutes on DVR?
SWR.
SWR. Oh, that's right. I remember now. SWR. So if you want, if you hadn't grabbed lunch already, you might want to grab some lunch from Jim out there, and then head up the hill and listen to Kyle or whoever he's got tagging along with him right now. And I'm going to eat my lunch, and then I'll be up to the station myself.
Thanks, Steve.